My name is Dulce Valencia, and welcome to TELENOVELAScondulce, a podcast where every week I invite special guests to break down the telenovelas we love, from the music to the cast to the unforgettable plot twist.
Every slap, every imbécil, every secret twin.
I have got you covered. Bienvenidos and welcome to another special episode of Telenovelas con Dulce. Oh my god, Aranza!
Wow, when you started recording, I've been watching a lot of iCarly, reliving my childhood. And you know how Freddie counts down 3, 2, 1.
Well, doesn't he go from like 10? 9?
I don't know.
He does, because in the promo for the remake or the relaunch.
Oh my god, they need to stop doing that.
Okay. Well, if you believe that, we wouldn't be having an episode today.
Oh my goodness. That's not the same.
Okay. Okay, so you don't think we should have reboots?
No.
Okay. So remakes
I get
are
it,
okay.
though.
So
I
they
get
would
why
have
they do
gotten a younger cast to redo iCarly.
No.
Okay.
Just like the High School Musical drama with I guess you're right. We wouldn't have Olivia Rodrigo.
We got driver's license.
We got Deja Vu.
Deja Vu. And with that, we are going to... Hi, listener.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Telenovelas con Dulce. My name is Dulce Valencia. I am your host, and joining me today for the very first time on the mic is my dear friend, Aranza Marmolejo Ramirez.
Hi.
Hi.
That's me.
So Aranza has been on in the sense that I've mentioned her before, and her voice appeared briefly in one of the episodes. I think it was episode 3, where Aranza listened to me and Kim recording.
Mm-hmm. I had to be very quiet in the background. And we have listeners right now. And they're just...
Yeah, we do. We have... Kim is actually back in the studio.
The studio. Support.
Hi.
And also my dear boyfriend, Kevin.
Yes, shout out to Kevin. If you listened to my last episode, you know that the telenovela that Aranza and I are going to be covering is the iconic, and I do not say this lightly, Teresa. I'm so excited to do this one. For this episode, we're going to break it down similarly to how we did the first episode of Ruby. We are going to be giving you all some background on the telenovela, talking about the music, and we have some iconic music to tell you all about. And then we are going to be discussing the first 7 episodes of Teresa. So for that, I am going to put a link to the episodes that we've been watching on YouTube in the show notes, so you'll be able to watch along if you want. Before we can jump into the story, a little background. Teresa is a Mexican telenovela produced by Jose Alberto Castro. It's a remake of the 1989 telenovela called Teresa. And I don't know if you know this, but the original Teresa starred Salma Hayek.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Salma Hayek was our original Teresa.
It makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense. I need to watch that.
Yeah, no, so it featured Salma Hayek as Teresa. It was her first major role. And after that, she got so big, she left telenovelas. And now she's a big Hollywood star.
Wow.
Yeah, we love her.
We do.
So yeah, all right. So I already mentioned Teresa's a remake of the same telenovela from 1989 that starred Salma Hayek. It stars Angelique Boyer, Sebastián Rulli, and Aaron Diaz as a main protagonist.
What a cast. What a cast.
It's a great cast. And it also has Cintia Clipo, it has Ana Brenda Contreras, and we have Manuel Landeta, which you all might not recognize that name, but he played El Conde in Ruby.
Ugh.
And he also plays a scumbag here.
Despise him.
We also have performances from Margarita Magaña and Felicia Mercado. And Aranza, so something we do in this podcast is we talk about the stars and constellations.
Yes, we do. Today, are we going to talk about what we talked about today?
Let's talk.
Okay. All right. So when I was at the restaurant today, I was on Twitter and something came up about how where your Saturn is on your birth chart is how people get their karma. I don't know if it also applies to how you get your karma, but I texted you guys and I was like, oh my God, where's your Saturn at? And so mine was in Taurus, and so I Googled what house Taurus rules, and it ruled the second house, which means if you mess with me, it'll come bite you in the butt with your finances, your job, your career. So don't.
And my Saturn was in Pisces, which there were a lot of creative stuff.
Oh yeah, like creative.
So,
that's the only one. That's the only word I remember in that house.
Yeah, it was like the creative stuff. So don't mess with my podcast.
Don't mess with us.
Just kidding. But also another thing I want to mention is that we recently had the transition from Pisces to Aries.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I want to talk about that because it was tumultuous.
Chaotic.
So chaotic.
Chaotic.
I was on a flight to see my friend, and the middle seat was empty, but next to me was an older lady, and she dropped her phone. So, and I picked it up and was like, hey, I think you dropped your phone. And she was like, thank you. I would have never seen it, and I've just had a day. And I was like, girl, it's a Pisces to Aries transition. And she was like, what's that? And then so I explained it to her, and she was like, wow, that makes so much sense.
It does.
It makes sense.
Yeah, for me, it's been like the little things, like just little things here and there that just accumulate up, and you just feel the energy, and it's so chaotic. Every day there's something.
So that day, that specific day, I dropped every single drink I was holding.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why it manifested like that, but every single drink I was holding, I dropped.
Yeah. You can thank Aries for that.
All right, so now
talking about fire energy. What?
What?
Because Teresa, the fire.
Oh my God, what do you think she would be?
I mean, we can actually look it up to see if her birthday was
mentioned
celebrated. In Teresa, but she has to be like passionate, and I always think fire, but maybe a Sag.
You think she's a Sag?
Either fire or Sag. Wait.
Or Aries, no?
Wait, Sag is fire.
Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned it, because you're super passionate and like ambitious. Not in the same way as Teresa.
Not in the same way.
But you are.
Oh my God.
So maybe a fire sign.
Maybe. I can definitely see Teresa being a fire sign.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay.
All right, so Teresa is a telenovela that gets a lot of comparisons from Ruby.
Which I did not know. I haven't seen Ruby.
So. Oh my God.
I know, but I listen.
Did you listen?
I listen.
She listened to the podcast, so she's caught up. Okay, yes. So Teresa gets so many comparisons to Ruby. If you all have been listening, I have a TikTok, and I posted some clips about Teresa, and everyone kept commenting, oh, nothing compared to Ruby, like all these comparisons. And people don't know that Teresa and Ruby are two completely separate stories, and they are not based on the same thing, although they're very similar. So basic premise is Teresa tells the story of a young student, Teresa Chavez, who is not only beautiful, but she's also very smart.
She got the brains.
She got the beauty, and she lives in a vecindad. She is riddled by poverty. And
she can't have it all. We always say that.
And after a very traumatic and tragic event, she decides that she is never, ever, ever going to be poor again, and she is going to find money and find riquezas any way she can.
Yeah, and I think even before this tragedy occurs, like, she was already, like, driven to succeed. But after this, you kind of, like, saw the fire in her, and it was kind of, like, scary. Even her mom catches on. There's, like, some moments where her mom is, like, scared by Teresa, and all throughout the telenovela, she's like, me asustas, Teresa.
So that's the basic premise. Y'all know this. If you all have been listening to Ruby, it's pretty similar. But before we get started on the actual plot, we are going to talk about the music.
Don't even. Like, I would come home every morning. I had a guitar. I didn't know how to play it.
No.
And I would pretend to play it and just sing my heart out, the intro. And Marco Antonio Solis played a big role. Yes. And then Aaron Diaz's song. And just...
Yes. So the telenovela Teresa has 3 main songs. The first is the intro song. And y'all know...
I'm sorry.
Y'all know I love my entradas. I have a playlist. I'll also link it up in the show notes. But the entrada is called Esa Hembra es Mala
By Gloria Trevi.
by Gloria Trevi.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. Aranza, I don't know if you can pull up the lyrics, but I'm about to pull up the lyrics.
I don't need the lyrics, honey. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. No, I probably should.
The confidence.
Voy a presentarte a esa.
Yes. All right. So some little, I guess, background. The song is sung from the perspective of Aurora.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
it
is.
makes sense.
Yes, it.
It makes sense.
This I don't need to pull up the lyrics.
I have them up, Dulce.
So the lyrics are sung from the perspective of Aurora. Aurora is Teresa's best friend.
Amiguis.
If you're comparing this to Ruby, she would be the Maribel, but with the spine.
With the spine.
Yeah, unfortunately, Maribel, she does not have a spine.
I mean, I love Aurora.
Aurora is great. And so this song, the lyrics start with, Voy a presentarte a esa, la que se duerme en tu cama, la que es toda una dama, la que no te pide nada, pero le gusta lo mejor.
Voy a presentarte a esa, la que dice que te ama, la que nunca dice no, la que daría hasta la vida con tal de hacerte feliz.
And this is the part where you know that it's Aurora.
The next line.
Esa mujer fue mi amiga.
Maldito sea el día.
Robó lo que más quería.
Y todo por ambición.
Yo sé que ella es tan bonita.
Que hasta parece bendita.
Pero es un ángel caído.
Ella es una maldición.
Esa hembra es mala.
Mm-hmm. You guys know the hook.
Y'all know. Y'all can
sing along.
Pause and go play it. So this song is sung from the perspective of Aurora, Teresa's best friend. And the way this song is set up in the intro, we are being introduced to Teresa. We know, so Aurora in this song, and it's not sung by Aurora, but the lyrics are from her perspective and is, let me introduce you to this woman. This person, the one who sleeps in your bed, the one who is so high class, who never asks for anything, but who loves the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce you to her, the one who says that she loves you, the one who will never say no, and she would apparently give up her life to make you happy. That woman was my friend, and I curse the day that she stole what I most loved, all because of her ambition. Esa hembra es mala. How will you translate it?
Well, hembra is a girl.
Yeah, but it's like stronger.
Yeah, like that woman.
That female.
Yeah.
It's female.
Yeah, that female.
That female is bad.
It translates.
It's not the same. It does not.
Yeah.
It's like descarada with Ruby, because descarada translates as shameless, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's like it's like esa hembra, like in English, but you know when they put a little asterisk and it's like in Spanish.
Esa hembra es mala. Esa hembra hace daño.
The woman is bad. Like what?
So this is our main theme song. So I have mentioned the telenovela awards in the past, but for this year, Teresa came out in 2010. So for the 2010 telenovela awards, this song was nominated as best telenovela song.
As it should.
And much like the Oscars, all the nominated songs get performed by the artist. So Gloria Trevi performed this song, and Angelique Boyer danced it on stage.
I need to see this.
In this beautiful blue dress. I'm going to send you the link right now so you can watch it.
Excellent.
Oh, by the way, it also won the award, as it should.
I mean, yeah, like, of course. I don't think I'm gonna get your text on.
Oh my god, it was a red dress. She was wearing
a red. You know, that's what I was gonna point out. I was like,
she was wearing.
I feel like it should have been a red dress. It has to be a red dress.
No, she was wearing a blue dress because Angelique Boyer also won the award for Best Actress for this role. It was her first win, and she won the award. And she was wearing this beautiful blue dress, which I also remember. This was 10 years ago, y'all. What's with me and remembering dresses that actors wear?
Yeah, you have a memory. I think I found it.
Oh, did you? I'm about to send it to you.
Yeah, no, I think I found it.
Okay, so that performance is engraved in my mind.
I mean, I understand why now. The dress, the performance, the eye contact, everything about it is memorable.
Yes.
Like, it's now tattooed in my brain, too. Like,
love it. So that's the first iconic song from Teresa. The second one is the Marco Antonio Solís song, ¿A dónde vamos a parar?
Yeah.
This song plays and I immediately get transported to 2010.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My mom is a huge Bookies fan.
As my parents. Yep.
So I've seen this played in concert in real time.
I have not, but I will maybe one day after concerts come back.
No, it's so good. So in the telenovela, Teresa is a big fan of this song. And I just found it so fun that very constantly throughout the telenovela, she goes and plays this song.
Yeah.
And then even her madrina comments.
Yeah, like, esa
canción, Teresa.
I know.
So yeah, it's from the Bookies. I'll also link it in the show notes so that y'all can listen to it because it's so good. It's so heartbreaking. And it will come to represent Teresa's love life.
It has perfect lyrics that describe her love life.
Do you want to read some of them?
I mean, if we're going to be talking about the music, I think we should.
We have to, yeah. Ooh, okay, so it starts with Ya ves, siempre acabamos así, solo haciéndonos sufrir, por no evitar discutir, So I'm trying to, so Teresa, Esa Hembra Mala is sung from Aurora's perspective. Who do you think this perspective is from?
I feel like Arturo.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Like, ¿a dónde vamos a parar?
Right, and then cayendo siempre en el mismo error, dándole siempre más valor a todo menos al amor. Oh my God. Because that's Teresa. She values everything except love.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but
it makes sense, especially you do not remember the finale, but I do, and I won't spoil it. But this song plays a very large role in the finale.
Wow. I hate that there's 3 endings.
So I will say, yeah, there's 3 endings for Teresa, but there was one main one. The other 2 are alternative, and this plays a very, very important role in the real ending.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then so this is Arturo's song, and then the third song is
the Aaron Diaz song.
The Aaron Diaz song.
I feel like a lot of people don't know because it's only played for an instance in the novela. I don't know where it's played, but it's played briefly. But ever since I listened to it, dude, like wow. And it's sung by Arturo.
Yeah, no.
Aaron Diaz.
By Mariano.
Not Arturo, sorry. Mariano.
Yes, it's sung by Mariano. The video is iconic. The song is called Teresa.
Teresa, mi azúcar y sal. Y muerte mi fortaleza. Dude, I know it. Yeah, I know
I will also link it in the show notes. A lot of links to beautiful music. But the video.
Oh, yes.
The video always wow.
The white tank top.
The vest. The leather vest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he is that it guy.
He is. So those are the main 3 songs of Teresa. I think Hembra Mala is the most iconic, but they're all iconic.
Yeah, they are. And if you haven't listened to the Aaron Diaz one, go listen to it again. Just do it.
I will also be posting it on TikTok so y'all can see it. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's the music. Now let's talk about the actors.
Who do we begin with?
Okay, I think we should begin with Angelique Boyer.
Of course.
Angelique Boyer, I don't know if you know this, but she's been acting for years. She was in Rebelde.
Do you remember this?
She had the short blonde hair.
I remember, yes. Was not a good look, but she pulls off anything.
She pulled it off, yeah. She pulled it off. So this was Angelique Boyer's first major protagonista role. Mm-hmm. This could either make or break her career.
And this made her career.
Much like Barbara Mori's career was made by Ruby,
yep.
And much like Salma Hayek's career was made by Teresa, Angelique Boyer was launched into stardom with this telenovela. She is so good. She portrays Teresa Chavez, the poor, young, manipulative that's going to do all she can to avoid poverty.
Yeah, she does it so well.
We have to talk about Sebastián Rulinek.
I mean, I just love that they're together. in real life.
Spoiler.
Are we not supposed to say that?
No, you can say it. I mean, it's a real life story.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
like, ooh, I love that for them. I follow them on Instagram and like,
They're so
in
cute.
love.
They're so cute. They're always gassing each other up on their social media.
His captions about her, like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Get you a Sebastian Rulli in your life. Another fun thing. So Sebastian Rulli, if that name sounds familiar but you can't pinpoint it, he played Hector in Rubí.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah.
And he has a little accent. What's his accent?
He's Argentinian.
There you
Yes.
go. That accent.
Yes,
is
he
like
has.
so cute.
It's very small because he's been in Mexico so long, but it's still there. But yeah, Sebastián Rulli as el profesor Arturo de la Barrera, and we have Aaron Diaz portraying Mariano, the poor first love of Teresa. So he was in this telenovela called Lola Eras una vez. So you know the movie I Care a Lot? So Fran, Isa Gonzalez's character,
Okay.
she played the main couple with Aaron Diaz in Lola Eras una vez. Yep, 2007. It was her first big role when she was 15.
What was I doing at 15?
Not starring in a
that.
telenovela with Aaron Diaz. So that's our main trio. We also have Ana Brenda Contreras portraying Aurora, Teresa's best friend. Beautiful woman. She plays a secondary role in this, but she does go on as an actor. She now plays mostly like the primary roles. And she also had a guest appearance in Dynasty, the CW show, with Jade from Victorious. I literally have a mental spreadsheet with
I know
all these actors.
Yeah, I can't because when I watched Teresa, I was like 9-10 years old, and it was like this is one of like the last telenovelas that I religiously watched with my mom, and then like I kind of like grew up and became a little preteen brat, and so I stopped watching. Actually, no, yeah, I think I watched like Nuestra Belleza Latina. But yeah, this is one of the last ones that I really like was hooked on. Yeah. And then that's why I don't really have that much memories.
Well, I also, you know me.
Yeah.
Like I retain everything.
Everything. Down to the dress.
So yeah, and then we have Cynthia Clipo playing Teresa's madrina, and we have Margarita Magaña portraying Teresa's rival, Aida.
I mean, she plays the bully very well.
Yes, and I love Margarita Magaña. Like, she did this telenovela called Un Gancho al Corazón, also with Sebastián Rulli. Oh my god, you know that? Yeah. Okay, I love that telenovela. So I had my first boxing lesson today.
Oh wow!
And the entire time I kept telling my trainer, the whole reason I want to box is because when I was little, there was this telenovela called Un Gancho al Corazón, and La Bonita was a boxer, and then he was telling me, oh well, if you're serious about this, I'll give you equipment that you should buy. And he's like gloves, for example, and I was like, I already know they have to be pink.
The pink one. Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, just another way telenovelas have continued to shape my life.
I mean, yeah, without Teresa, I don't think, honestly, I would be as driven.
Honestly, like, I see so many people post about this. Like, we have to make Teresa proud. Teresa let nothing get in her way.
Nope.
And she was driven, and she used every resource she had.
Every single resource, really. Like, you can't stop her.
But rounding up the main cast that I want to talk about, Manuel Landeta plays Ruben, Aida's father, and a scumbag. So that is the cast. Those are the songs. We are excited to dive in to the plot for the first 7 episodes. But before we dive in, we're going to take a short little break. All right, and we are back. Okay, so before we get started on the plot, I keep putting the plot off, but I want to talk about the iconic Teresa line. So Teresa has a catchphrase.
2 words. Which one are you thinking of?
I am talking about Entre ser y no ser.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So the reason I want to talk about this is because it's probably her most iconic line. I think she says it at least once in every episode.
Yeah, it's my bio.
It's Aranza's bio. And I remember we were talking about it with Kim.
And she didn't really quite understand
She didn't understand it. So I want to talk about it. All right. So Kim just took her headphones off because she's been here because we're going to watch a telenovela after.
Mm-hmm. And she questioned us about this. And we were like, save it for the podcast. So we're here.
We're here now, and we are going to talk about the phrase Entre ser y no ser, yo soy.
Wow.
So translated, that means
Again,
between being and not being, I am.
Yeah, in English, again, it's just not, it doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't. Give me your take. Why is this phrase so iconic that it's still your bio 10 years later?
I feel like I'm being interviewed. For me, and I feel like this can have different interpretations depending on who is interpreting, but for me, I think it's like either I'm gonna be this person who I'm gonna like I know I'm gonna be, because like everyone has their like hopes and dreams and aspirations, and I'm not like that pathway, but that's not even an option. I haven't even thought of that, because there's only one road, especially being like a child of immigrant parents and yada yada, that whole story. Like it's always just you're pushed to be so successful, and you don't really have a choice. You just are. Like your parents didn't tell you, you know, you're not going to go to college, you're not going to do this. It's like you were only given one road, and you have to follow that road, and you are going to be that person. You know, like when people are like, the immigrant storyline of parents is, oh, you're going to be either a doctor or you're a lawyer. What is she? A lawyer. And Mariano's a doctor.
For me, Entre ser y no ser, it's just, we talked about, and we haven't even gotten to the plot, but we'll get there. But we talk about how Teresa is driven. There's no denying how driven she is, and that's something that, you know, she has throughout the entire telenovela. And so for me, between being and not being, not to compare myself to her, but as we mentioned, she might be a fire sign, she might be a Sagittarius like I am. But one thing I'm always commented on is people see my passion for things, and that I'm very set in who I am. And that's to me what Teresa means when she says between being and not being.
Like nothing's going to stop you.
Nothing. She already is who she knows she is.
And we can relate, because we are also poor.
We're also poor.
And
we've been traumatized by poverty.
But we use every resource possible. Yes,
every single resource. And I mean, we talk about it like, we are not at the level of Teresa or Ruby, but yeah, we have a very strong desire that we are going to get our parents out of it.
To get us out the vecindad.
But no, yeah, like for me, Entre ser y no ser, it was just, she knows who she is, and she's not going to let anything stop her. And it's also very Hamlet. His big speech is to be or not to be.
Yeah.
That is the question.
Yeah. It sounds like...
Yeah, it's Hamlet. Teresa is Hamlet. I think she's very cultured, so I think she would be quoting Hamlet or adapting
she knows
Hamlet
about
to
all
fit.
that stuff.
So it's very poetic, it's very determined, and it's very foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's like a big symbol throughout the whole novela.
Yes, anytime she's confronting someone or anytime she doubts herself.
Yeah, the determination is there. Like, she reminds herself, like, snap back into it. You know who you are. Like, you're that bitch.
Exactly. So, entre ser y no ser.
Yo soy.
Her other iconic line I think that you wanted to talk about was...
It's just maldita pobreza.
Maldita pobreza. Bad Bunny has a song.
Yeah, like, come on. Iconic.
So, maldita pobreza means damn poverty?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And...
who can relate?
Raise your hand if you can relate.
Everyone but the 1%.
I also really, really love Odio ser pobre. So we talked about her iconic phrases.
Right.
Let's finally get started on the plot. All right, so for the plot, as I mentioned, but if you need a reminder, we are only going to be discussing the first 7 episodes of Teresa. And I call this, if this was a play, this is when the point of no return happens, where something happens in Teresa's everyday life that will propel her forward, and nothing can ever be the same whereas it was.
Very well said.
So, we open Teresa with a shot of a woman getting out of a cab.
Who's that girl?
She's wearing this beautiful blue dress.
See? Like, how do you even remember that? What? I don't remember that.
Her shoes have red bottoms, which I was like, ooh. And she's stepping into this graduation party. She has graduated high school. All her friends are there, all her classmates. And they're playing all these throwback songs. Like, they're playing Jesse and Joy. They play Marco Antonio Solis at one point because it's Teresa's favorite song.
It's hard. I always forget that she's literally just graduated high school. Like, she carries herself like super sophisticated, very mature. Like, she's a lawyer already, you know, like, and she manifests stuff for herself. Like, you know how people will say, like, I am, you're supposed, when you manifest stuff, like, you say, I am this, I am that. Like, she is, and that's just period.
Yes. So we see her walk into this graduation party. She meets up with her boyfriend. I feel like he's so irrelevant to the grand scheme of things. But she meets up with her boyfriend and her classmates and her best friend Aurora. And so we're introduced into this world. And Teresa starts talking with her boyfriend about plans after graduation. And she tells him, oh, my parents are gonna go. They want to take me away. They don't want to let me go to school here.
Already setting it up.
And then her boyfriend, Paolo says, you know what? I think I can talk to my mom. Let's get married.
Ugh.
They just graduated high school and they're talking about marriage. And so Teresa's like, you would do that for me? Oh my God, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then she says, she makes an excuse to him and tells him that she's sleeping over at Aurora's and Aurora's leaving, so she has to leave too. She drops her shawl and then Paolo picks it up and he's gonna take it to her. But when he walks outside,
discovers her.
He sees that Teresa's not getting in the car with Aurora. She's taking a cab.
Where does she take this cab?
So he decides to follow her. And we are taken from the glamour and the riches of high-class Mexico to a vecindad, where Teresa gets off and she immediately makes a face. She already clashes with everything. And she opens the door to her apartment. So then we see that her entire vecindad and her family have gathered for a surprise little party for Teresa.
Little graduation party.
Yes, and it's so cute. It's so lovely.
Yeah. I didn't even have that. Like, she has a community.
She has community. Like, I have you all.
Yeah, same.
Which I love.
I love,
my
yeah,
community.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's nothing like Teresa. And you know, she's very gracious, I guess, but she does still le da la mala cara.
Yeah.
When they open the cheap champagne and she just like, And there we see Aaron Diaz is Mariano. And there's tension between him and Teresa. There's so much tension.
And I think with all telenovelas, the eye contact displayed by the actors is always like piercing in your soul. Even when you're watching it, you feel it. Like, ugh.
It's all in the eyes, and the eyes are windows to the soul. So yeah, so there's so much tension between Mariano and Teresa. Like, we already know there's history there, but they're not together. And outside, Paolo sees everything happen, and he realizes that Teresa is not the rich person she has claimed to be.
Which, I mean, the fact that she could hide it for that long, that's hard. How do you even...
I can't hide bangs.
Yeah, I remember girls in my high school would like take off their makeup on the bus because like their parents didn't let them wear it.
Yes.
Like, it's like, how do you keep that big of a secret?
I don't know, but people do, and Teresa's one of them. So yes, so she's excited because she thinks that she just got her ticket out. But then the next day, real fast before that though, Teresa's family includes her mother Refugio and her dad, who's a mechanic, and her little sister Rosa, who's a gymnast and Teresa adores, loves her. And Teresa's always trying to be like, you have to be and fight for who you want to be.
She wants to like infect Rosita with her like driven passion, whatever.
So yeah, so that's Teresa's home life, and she also has a madrina played by Cintia Clipo. Her name is Juana, and she makes all of Teresa's beautiful dresses.
Like without her, like, come on. Like, she was a piece that helped Teresa go that long because like her, like the way you dress and the way you present yourself to others, it's like first impressions and everything. Like from the moment someone meets you, it's... And
she did a wonderful job. All those beautiful dresses are made from Juana. So then the next day, Teresa goes to school. Everyone's enrolling into university and Teresa can't afford it. And she doesn't want to go to public university, much like Ruby. It's all very similar. And so she is just seeing all her classmates enroll into college. And then Sebastián Rulli's character pops up. He's apparently one of their professors.
El profe
Arturo, who also teaches at the university Teresa wants to go to. So then he talks to Teresa. And it's so flirty.
Yeah, like...
I'm like, what professor talks like that?
All their interactions are like steamy. Like the eye contact, the
tension, how close they get to each other. Yeah. It's all a lot. But basically he tells Teresa, I know that you're poor.
I know, just straight up, like, doesn't even...
it doesn't even ease into it. He's just like, I know you're poor and I know that you can't afford college. And I also know that you're my brightest student. So here's my card. I will pay for your college. Contact me.
Imagine that. Wow.
And then Teresa is like, lo consideraré. She doesn't even say yes. She's just like, I'll consider it.
Yeah, like she carries herself in such a way. I'm telling you, she plots plots plans. I don't know. Like she sets everything up for herself so wisely, and she's just freshly out of high school. Not really.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
So then she meets up with her boyfriend, who breaks up with her. He confronts her about her being poor and lying to him. And Teresa's like, well, you would have never dated me had I told you the truth. And he doesn't deny it because he knows it's true.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think at that point, like, she has a switch of like, oh, plan B. She has options.
So then there's this big graduation party. So Teresa has an enemy.
Aida.
Her name is Aida. And Aida hates Teresa because Aida wants to get with Paulo. Which, he's not even cute. I'm like, what do y'all see with him? But Aida loves him and wants to get with him. And Teresa has always been in the way. And Teresa's also been the smartest student. So Aida's just jealous.
She's a hater.
And so when Teresa breaks up with Paulo, or they break up, Paulo tells Aida that Teresa's poor. So then Aida goes to La Vecindad and takes pictures of Teresa's family.
And she's enjoying this moment, and like, as a viewer, like, you're rooting for Teresa.
You are.
But when you see that, it's like, oh, like, you get so angry, like, her secret's out and you know that it's in the wrong hands and now something's gonna happen.
And what happens, Aranza?
She exposes Teresa in front of her classmates in like the rudest way. Like,
at the party, Aida takes a PowerPoint presentation. Their entire class is gathered there. And Aida shows a presentation of Teresa's very hardworking parents, like her dad as a mecánico, her mom washing clothes, and humiliates Teresa.
Who does that? Who goes to that extent and makes a PowerPoint? A fan and a hater.
No, it's truly horrible. And Teresa runs off crying. And Aurora follows her. And then Teresa's just like, distraught. So then she goes home. And then I think she runs into Aida later on. And Paulo. And then she confesses to them, what you did hurt me, but I'm never gonna forget.
Yep.
Y entre ser y no ser, yo soy.
They messed with the wrong bitch.
They sure as hell did. Because
later, they are in for a treat because she gets her fucking revenge. Oh, I'm so excited. Because they deserve it. Who does that?
So then Teresa goes home and she tells her parents about the profesor's proposal that he'll pay for her college. And all the while, her sister has this important gymnastics competition that she's preparing for. And she's also suffering from fainting spells.
Yep.
But she's not telling anyone because she really wants to compete. Because her sister, Rosa, her big thing is she thinks that her dad doesn't love her as much as he loves Teresa.
Which also, should we get into that relationship?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we should talk about it after she gets the offer, because it's then where they know, or us viewers know, that she's a daddy's girl.
So then Teresa goes home, and her madrina and her little sister have made her a new dress.
Rosy.
And Teresa tries it on, and she's like, this is perfect. Her madrina tries to be like, oh, nope, this accentuates your curves a little too much. And Teresa's like, nope, this is perfect for what I wanted. Because she's on her way to el profesor de la Barrera's office, which is in his home. And she's about to talk about his proposal.
It's a teal blue dress.
I love that dress. It's in all the promo shots. So then she goes to his home and just like, beautiful mansion. She's like marveling at it. Mm-hmm. And she meets his secretary assistant, who she just thinks.
Oh, sorry. You're setting it up. Go.
I'm setting it up. Who Teresa just thinks is his assistant, secretary.
And so she dismisses her. Like, call him, I'll wait. Like, just really like owns the room and just sits down, and she's like, go call him. Shoo shoo.
And later, what do we find out?
Luisa is his sister. And not only is she just his sister, like, she's all that he has.
So yes, it's his younger sister, though she is a little older than Teresa. We later find out. Yeah. As soon as Teresa realizes that it's his sister,
180, like, completely changes her attitude towards her. And like, again, Teresa plays people very well. Like, depending on who you are, if she can use you later on, she saves you in your, like, the back of her brain. And so now that she has this information, she's trying to get on Luisa's good side because le conviene.
Yeah, and Luisa dresses very understatedly. She dresses very plainly, doesn't do her hair much. It's very simple, very
literally
conservative.
A secretary.
And Teresa makes a comment about, oh, no sabía que eras la hermana, no te esperaba, like, eres tan bonita. She calls her pretty.
Yeah, and then she's like,
she doesn't like that.
No soy bonita. Tú eres bonita. Oof.
I know. So Teresa meets with Arturo. And this whole meeting is filled with sexual tension.
It's like insinuating sex.
So much. Because he's like, how far are you willing to go?
I know, it's like so steamy. I'm telling you, like, and you forget that she's freshly out of high school.
And he's significantly older than her.
Yeah. Which, like, yeah, when you're watching it back then, like, you don't really take that into account. But now it's kind of weird.
And he gets so close to her. She gets close to him. She, like, leans over and you can see everything.
When I watched this, I was like, ooh.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense. But it all boils down to
the negotiation. They're negotiating.
And his proposal is you're going to go to school, you're going to be the top student of your class, and you're going to work for me.
But I don't want any distraction.
What could that mean?
Boys.
And speaking of boys, guess who's banging on his gate right at this moment?
Mariano. He makes a freaking scene, man. What the heck? He was out of line.
So
he was out of line because they weren't even... The mamá me mandó. Okay, you don't have to freaking jump on the freaking gate. Yeah, no.
So, because Teresa's mom thinks that the profesor, all he wants is sex. So then she sends Mariano over to save Teresa. And so Mariano is jumping over the fence, like causing a scene. And then Teresa comes out and Mariano like drags her away.
Yeah, like literally drags her into the taxi.
I'm embarrassed for Teresa.
Yeah, that's rough because Luisa like sees that and you know Luisa already had a really bad first impression of her, and now after seeing that it's like, oh yeah, she's not.
It's chusma. Yeah, and also the way Mariano very much like carries her, doesn't let her make any choices and undermines her authority. It's just very machista. Mariano's so machista.
Yeah, he is.
So then Teresa is dragged home, and once she leaves, Arturo tells Luisa that Teresa is going to be working with her, working for him.
Yeah.
And that's when Luisa's like, I don't like her. She treated me all
back
poorly.
into my home.
Yes. And then we also find out that Arturo, the whole reason, like, I don't know if it's like the whole reason he's all like chill and cool, but we find out that Arturo was left at the altar by his former girlfriend, and he has not dated anyone since.
Yeah, Luisa's like, nomás tenía 11 años cuando te dejó al altar.
I know, hella exposition. But yeah, and then so back at the vecindad though, Teresa is very excited about this, and she tells her parents, and her mom is like, no.
Stern, no way around it, no. And even before that, when Teresa was telling her mom about wanting to go to La Universidad del Sur, I think is what it's called.
That is what it's called, yeah.
Instead of community college, like her mom was super against it. Like in her mom's eyes, like as long as you get your education, you're good. It doesn't matter where you get your education. But Teresa was like, no. And when they found out that they weren't accepting becas, that's when they were like, oh yeah, for sure no, because how are we going to pay for that? When Teresa tells her mom about this opportunity, of course, she says it's like stern no. So who does Teresa run to? Her dad. Ay, papi, like, come on.
No entiende.
Yeah, and, you know, her dad is kind of like, ooh, like, I don't want to fight with your mom over this. So you kind of know that Teresa's a daddy's girl, and Teresa's going to eventually get her way because her dad will say yes, and everyone just needs to convince her mom. Like, Teresa even tells her madrina, like, can you please help me convince her?
And then so Teresa has Arturo come into la vecindad and talk to her parents, and her mom does not want to hear him out.
No, she throws Teresa on the bed.
I know, she gets violent.
She does.
I was like surprised at that.
That's when she comments on Teresa's tone, because Teresa, you know, when she gets talking about her pobreza, she feels it. So when she hears her daughter talk about, you know, in that way, she kind of like, yeah, gets aggressive with her and says like, ese tono, Teresa, me asustas. Like, she says that a lot.
But then the dad comes and
completely changes, like, yeah.
The dynamic, yeah. It's just, and Teresa convinces her dad to convince her mom to at least listen to El Profesor Arturo's proposition. And so they do. And then it's settled. Arturo's gonna pay for Teresa's schooling and she's gonna work for him. And it's this big thing. Teresa feels like her dreams are finally coming true. And then, to flash a little bit sideways, so this entire time that they've been like discussing college and everyone's been enrolling into the fancy university, Mariano has been working as a messenger for Aida's father, enrolling Aida into school. And on one of these trips, he runs into Aurora. And they have a very meet-cute moment where Aurora drops her papers and Mariano picks it up. And as he picks it up, their hands touch briefly. They hella flirt. They just vibe with each other.
They vibe.
They do. And then this whole time, Aurora is struggling because she doesn't want to study to be a doctor, but that's what her dad wants her to do. And Mariano, and he was studying to be a doctor, but he had to leave to take care of his sick mother.
He doesn't have the money.
And now he doesn't have the money, right? So then Aurora, like, she's infatuated with him, and she tells Teresa, I met someone, and, like, I really like him. And Teresa's like, go for it. And Teresa, serio, so you have to go for it. And so, yeah, so that's setting up. Like, there's a budding friendship between Mariano and Aurora. We have the relationship between Aurora and Mariano forming. Teresa takes the professor's proposition.
And Mariano wins her heart over again.
And he re-enrolls into medical school. So now everyone's going to college.
Yep.
And Teresa's very happy because one of the reasons that they had broken up was because Mariano had left school. And Teresa...
it's a pretty good reason.
I respected that.
Yeah, like, I talked to Kevin about that too. Like, if our futures don't align, if you're not as driven as me, like, it's not gonna work out. So I see why Teresa did that. But yeah, now that Mariano is gonna go to college, and he, and like, I get why she does what she does later on, because like she has to wait for him too. And here is Profe, like, already has everything. So
So they get back together. And then one day while Aurora and Teresa are out at the university, Aurora sees Mariano and she comments and she tells Teresa, that's the guy I'm crushing on. And then Teresa completely humiliates Mariano in front of her, talks about how poor he is, how he's just like a chauffeur and just like used to drive buses and everything. And it's this whole thing because Teresa is like jealous.
Now she's like setting that up, like she wants her bestie to stay her bestie and not have anything to do with Mariano, and she wants Mariano at a certain place. Again, Teresa plays people like chess pieces. And yeah, she has this thing where even with her madrina and her sister, like when she sees that they're after like guys from the vecindad, like she tells them like no. Yeah. Because she lacks that like loving side. It's only shown, like, briefly.
So then Teresa, like, humiliates Mariano, and then when she gets back together with Mariano, she doesn't tell Aurora. And she lets Aurora believe that they're not together.
And that she still has a chance, and she's still over here telling her bestie, oh yeah, go after him. You have a chance. And she knows damn well that as soon as Aurora, like, tries to talk to Mariano, that Mariano's gonna talk about Teresa, because Mariano is, like, has been, and that conversation that they have after, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Then once Teresa, everyone's going to college, everything's great, and Teresa is going to start working for Professor Arturo. El Professor Arturo has this book that he's releasing, and he's having a cocktail party. This party happens to be on the same day that Rosa has her big competition that she's been working at so hardly, and she just convinced her dad to finally go see her perform because she really wants to win the gold medal, and she really wants her dad to be there because she wants to dedicate the medal to him.
Yeah, and we also forgot to mention that her mom took Rosita to the doctor to get some studies done, and then they were going to do the analyses on Monday, and Rosita got really excited because she was like, oh, that means I can compete because it's not until like the day after or whatever. So we never really get to know what's wrong with Rosita. But now Teresa has to decide, do I skip out on this networking opportunity because networking is everything and she knows it, or do I go to my sister's like competition? What is she gonna choose?
She thinks that she can do it both. And I sympathize with her in this because I've definitely had to do this with my work and with my family. And I stopped doing it as much now because, you know, work is not forever.
Yeah.
Like your family is.
Yeah, like I have a sad story.
Okay.
In high school, I was doing sports, so I would always be busy. And Elena she was in elementary school, like probably like 4th, 5th grade, and she had a solo in like her choir, and she was gonna perform this day, and my parents were working, so she only really had me, and I couldn't miss out on practice and also like getting there and whatever. So I missed out on her choir, and it was this whole solo, and so like she didn't have anyone there to support her, and it was just really sad because throughout my childhood too, like I never had anyone to come to those high like school things, and like you regret those things, that they're not worth it. Like they're really not.
They're really not. Yeah.
Like, come on. That day of practice, I don't even remember that.
But Elena probably remembers.
That hurts.
I know. I've definitely, like, I've missed birthday dinners. I've missed birthdays because...
Capitalism.
Because of capitalism, because I've been traveling for work, or because I had an important meeting that I couldn't change, and I've had jobs tell me, you know, like, you should plan your schedule better. And it's bullshit. So I'm working on that. I'm prioritizing friends and family above work. And Teresa decides that she's gonna go to El Profesor's thing and that she's gonna make it to Rosita's practice afterwards. She already disappoints Rosita because she's not able to do her makeup like she promised. So she goes to El Profesor's thing, cocktail, meets a lot of people, including Aida's father, who's a notario called Ruben. And we haven't talked about this, but he's a scumbag. He is cheating on... Yeah, he's cheating on his wife with a woman from Teresa's vecindad. Esperanza. Yeah, he's just a scumbag. And he meets Teresa and is immediately charmed by her beauty.
Of course. And as soon as Teresa realizes that that's Aida's dad, she gets into this mode, like Teresa mode, like, oh, how can I store this information that's going to be useful to me later? And like she even makes like a snarky comment, like, ooh, like,
you shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have let me know, like, listen to this. And like it's just setting up to something.
So then at the cocktail, Aida shows up. So she shows up and she sees that Teresa's there, and she's like, I hate Teresa, I see her everywhere, hasta en la sopa. And then she calls Pablo and tells him to get there because she wants to make Teresa jealous and she wants to hurt Teresa. So when he shows up and they pretend to be together and everything, and then he shows up at about the moment Teresa was about to leave to go to Rosita's competition.
Yeah.
But the moment that she sees that Aida and Pablo are there,
she has to stay because she has to like have the last laugh.
Big mistake, Teresa.
Yeah. Like, and there's so many moments like that, like even with Ruben, like she's taking her time, and I'm like, girl, like, go to your sister's competition already. But yeah, like, come on, Aida and Paulo, like, you guys don't have a life, man. Like, for real, you're just gonna call him up, come, so we can torture Teresa a little, like.
So they torture her a bit, but she gets the last laugh when she tells them, you know what? I'm actually going to school where you guys are going. So I am going to continue being the top student. And yeah, she basically tells them off.
Which they don't believe it. And even Teresa also has a last laugh when she goes, oh, like, you can have it, hasta te lo regalo, like with a bow, like, take him back. Like, I don't want him. Because she doesn't need him anymore. She's on to better things.
Yeah, and then Aida makes a comment to her dad that Teresa is poor and that she'll do anything for money.
And his eyes light up like, my next victim. Like, what the fuck?
Hated that so much. Because he's a scum. So that's when he decides, yep, I can have her. So then he drives her to the competition, gives her his business card, and is like, call me anytime. And so when they get there though, so real sideways flash. So as Teresa is at this cocktail and everything, Rosita performs. And when she performs, she collapses.
She's doing great before that though.
Yes.
Like she throws her baton or whatever up in the air. It's like her final move, and like it just falls to the ground. We see like a dramatic like it just flashes to her on the floor, like passed out, and Doña Refugio's in the like crowd, all her like supporters, and they're like, mi hija no se está moviendo.
Yeah, and so Mariano tries to help her because he's a médico. And then all he does is like say, call the ambulance. I know. It's not a funny moment. So he's trying to resuscitate her, and so around this time, that's when Teresa arrives with Ruben, and they see the stretcher pull in. And Teresa's just like, oh, I hope it's nothing serious. And then she walks in and she runs into Mariano, and she's like, Mariano, like, so good to see you. Like, I run into you. And she's like, did Rosita win the gold medal? And then he's like, your sister had a heart attack and she's in the hospital. So they go to the hospital. The entire vecindad like pulls their money together to help with the expenses and everything. And they're all praying and they're all waiting around. And Teresa's like crying because she missed her competition.
She's blaming it on being poor. Every little thing she blames it,
And she says something about how there were no buses and no metros, but it's like, girl, no.
Yeah.
You stayed behind because you wanted to get the last word with your enemies. So this one's on her. And
it eats her up, you can tell.
Oh no, it definitely eats her up. So then she's panicking because, like she's worried about her sister. Aurora comes and is a beautiful, supportive friend. She calls her dad and is like, do you know the director of this hospital? And her dad's like, yes, say no more. Like, I will call him and make sure that they treat her right.
Yeah, and even after that, like, Aurora's such a great friend because she, like, walked in on Teresa and Mariano hugging, and, after having that conversation hasn't happened.
Mm-mm.
But she walks in on them, like, she sees that, it hurts her a little, but she's still a supportive friend, does everything that she can to support Teresa, and...
Then, the next day, everyone at the vecindad, because Rosita is in a very critical situation, but once the hospital director takes over, he's like, okay, like, I'll allow family members to see her very briefly. And so they decide that her dad's gonna see her first. And Rosita's team comes and tells them she won the gold medal. Like, we wanted to bring it to her. So then the dad takes the gold medal, goes to Rosita, and tells her, you won. And she basically lets him know that she always thought that he never loved her as much as Teresa, and all she wanted to do was show him that she could also make him proud, and that gold medal was his. And he cries and tells her, no, I love you both equally. I hate that you believe that. I love you. Beautiful, beautiful moment. And then Refugio comes in, and then she's talking with Rosita, and she's talking about how they're gonna have a beautiful quinceañera for her, and how Juana's gonna make her a beautiful dress and everything. And then we just see like the heart monitor go flat.
She's rushed out of the room. Everyone's asking, like, what's going on? It's like the patient's coding. So you see, like, all the doctors rush into her room. And Teresa, like, loses it because she hadn't even gotten a chance to speak with Rosita. Mm-hmm. And then they are informed that she had passed away.
Yeah, so Rosita has died, and Teresa let her ambition come before her family. And so then we find out that Rosita had a heart condition that made her very weak, and if her heart was exerted, it could fail her, something like that.
Which she was born with.
But all Teresa hears is money caused this.
Yeah.
And so Teresa is heartbroken. She blames it all on money. She goes to see Rosa's dead body, cries, cleans herself up, and swears that nothing like this will ever happen to her again.
And that is the moment where, like, she promises to Rosita and, like, to herself that, like, she's gonna make it out the vecindad. And
yeah. And then she says, entre ser y no ser, yo soy. And she vows that poverty will never get in her way.
Nunca más.
And this is Teresa's origin story. This is a moment that Teresa's changed forever.
Tunnel vision.
And after this moment, nothing's gonna stop her. So I feel like this is a moment where La Hembra Mala is born. And that is where I wanted us to stop. So any last words, Aranza?
Tunnel vision. You guys are gonna see. You guys know.
That is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you're listening, please leave us a review and let us know how much you love it. Huge thank you to Aranza, and I look forward to her being back next week to continue talking about the Hembra Mala.
Bye, TikTok listeners. Teresa.